when this movie gets announced and you're like 80s and you're like, this is the fucking like what this like franchise brings. Like this is the decade to do it, where you're like fucking porn, boobies, and just fucking massive slashing.
And tons
Like
of cocaine, like just
like everything, like just fucking everything goes. You're like, fuck you, Ronald Reagan. We're not saying no to drugs. We're
we're
just
gonna
fucking
fucking
doing.
snort our way through this decade.
So it's like three X's and you're out, right? Because we're talking movies. We're talking Maxxine, starring Mia Goth, Kevin Bacon, and Simon Prast. Written, directed, and edited by Ty West. Chris, there's something I always wanted to tell you. You're a fucking movie star.
You're right. I am a star. Ain't nobody like me. The whole world's gonna know my name. Hashtag the Chris Langford movie. Maxxine. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? I feel like I got my feet back underneath me. We're going to be talking about the much anticipated and couldn't be waited for Ty West, end of his trilogy, Maxxine. Scott, take us away.
First, I just want to say, like, those quotes, it's like we almost planned it, because fuck that. Like, they lined up fucking pretty good.
Yo, we got like simpatico.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So in terms of Maxxine, so this is the end of the X trilogy.
Although there is now also rumors that Ty West might do some type of fourth installment depending on how this plays out. But yes, for all intents and purposes, this finishes the Maxxine storyline, right?
Yeah, so here I'm gonna preface this with a disclaimer.
Maxxine this is fucking Minx.
Okay, so again, disclaimer. What I'm about to say is all about me. Has really nothing to do with this movie or Ty West or anything. I think the fact that I went in with such high expectations, seeing the trailer and thinking it was gonna go one way when it didn't, right? It just totally kind of deflated me on this film. In terms of the, like, anybody who's listened to this podcast, we've done the other two movies and we're both, and like me personally, enjoyed the shit out of them, but this one I found myself bored a lot. I think
we got to let everybody know, because as most people who listen to the show know, Scott and I, none of this is scripted. We don't, talk about the films beforehand, and we most 99% of the time do not go to the movie together. We actually went to the theater together and sat beside each other.
We kept the tradition available, like, going, because this is the only set of movies that we've actually gone to watch together.
Oh, you're the best friend that I ever had.
We've watched every single one.
Yeah. And the reason I want to bring that up, though, is because I think you and I, again, simpatico. I was so fucking bored that if we didn't have to do this movie for this show, I probably would have left. And I'll tell you right now, I do not walk out of movies very often. I can't even remember the last movie I physically walked out of. And I honestly considered fucking doing it.
Fucking thing sucks.
And this movie is only 104 minutes long. So like roughly an hour, 44 minutes. It's not even fucking 2 hours. And I was bored. Anyway, I'll give it back to you, because I got a lot of fucking pent up shit about this fucking movie, man.
Yeah, like, I think, once it calms down, I might rewatch this and, you know, enjoy it a lot more. Just in the moment, I didn't. And like you look at, you know, you look at X based in the 70s, and it's pretty much just a 70s exploitation horror movie, right?
Yeah.
Pearl based in the 20s, you got like slow burn, fuck, what's that?
Technicolor style.
Technicolor, like, yeah, what happened to Baby Jane, just like fucking, you know,
Ooh, good
methodical.
callback, buddy. Good callback. I like
Yeah,
that.
methodical, like kind of like burn. When this movie gets announced and you're like 80s and you're like, this is the fucking, like, what this like franchise brings, like this is the decade to do it, where you're like fucking porn, boobies, and just fucking massive slashing
And
like,
tons of cocaine. Like just
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
like everything, like just fucking everything goes. You're like, fuck you, Ronald Reagan, you know, we're not saying no to drugs, we're just
we're gonna fucking
doing,
snort our way through this decade.
yeah, just like, and it's just like, I don't know, like, and that's the thing. That's why, if you notice, I've never really said in the intros like who edited the film, but I made sure to say this because like he wrote, directed, and edited this movie. So there is no, you know, what's that phrase, like the movie gets made 3 times in the script, on the screen, on production, and, you know, in editing, because he fucking did it all. So this is his vision. So
He's 100% responsible for this motherfucking train wreck.
yeah, this is, you know, God bless him, this is his vision, right?
It's my first day.
But I think there's so much that could have been done that wasn't, that just literally, just for me, just left like, you could have done so much with this, right? Like, and I'll let you speak and everything, but yeah, like it was just like deflating, I guess is the word I would say. Like, and that's how I felt. I was just like, you know, I just went out of it like, well, they made a movie, you know, and this could be why he's like, I'm gonna make a 4th, because he's like,
And the best part of this plan is, no one can stop me.
I'm gonna Peter Jackson the shit out of this until everybody likes how I ended it. But yeah,
Well, and I couldn't find the actual budget. And I mean, this film, when we're recording, this film has just opened. It's done about 8 million. I mean, I think the other two, they were done for, you know, a couple $1 million, kind of here or there, give or take. So if he did that, then he still makes his money. He can milk this fucking cow as long as he wants, you know, good for him. And I mean, I did read something on Twitter today about like, you know, even if you don't like this film, it is cool. Ty West did invent some IP. Like, this is 100% original IP. He went back to back on the first movies. So I am happy that a film that has been taken, that route has been taken, has been able to get this kind of wide distribution. But this movie is a fucking piece of fucking garbage. Okay, right now I'm going to tell you, because I don't want to say there's going to be spoilers, but I'm going to reference some films that might give away some key shit. I'm going to tell you right now, don't bother watching this thing in the theater. Seriously, don't fucking waste your time. I would even say you don't even have to watch it on a fucking streaming service. There's a couple interesting scenes. I just say, like, watch the trailer a couple times, maybe hit it when it's on fucking Tubi or something like that, and don't pay for it. Don't give these fucking people any fucking money for this fucking film, because the script is just fucking dog shit. Okay? You are going to watch this. If you go to the fucking movie theater after listening to this fucking podcast, that's on you, baby, because you were fucking warned.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
You know, so what I'm going to jump in. I actually got 2 quotes this week. I'm going to leave one for the end of the show. But Megan Navarro over at Bloody Disgusting, they've got a podcast, obviously, as well. We don't typically refer to podcasts very often on the show. But Megan says this: there is no question that Maxxine has style, but it suffocates the superficial story so thoroughly that it becomes an uninspired pastiche. And I actually had to look up what a fucking pastiche is. A pastiche is an homage on that is uncritical, right? Like that is like a true homage of a film. So Ty West is trying to like, you know, give reference to all these other films or that style from the 80s. And it, like I said, it looks really great. Elliot Rocket, who's the DOP, he did X, Pearl. He also did House of the Devil. He also is the DOP on Snowfall. So I read an IndieWire article with him, and he talked about some of the films they reference, and I'm going to get to those. So again, does it look 80s? Yeah. Is there great camera work? Yeah. Is there some really cool scenes? Absolutely. But as a film, like nothing really hangs together. I don't really feel for any of the characters. It is literally boring. And I'm going to reiterate this. I actually rewatched the fucking trailer before I did this podcast. And you know what I thought? I want to go watch that movie. Whatever fucking movie they're showing in that trailer, I want to go watch that because it sure as fuck isn't Maxxine.
Well, I'm gonna, say you're kind of wrong there. If you watch that trailer and you watch the first, I'd say 15 minutes of Maxxine, that is the trailer. Like when you have that Buster Keaton scene, right? I thought that was the fucking movie. I thought that's where it was going, and you know which one I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely. And that scene's cool. That scene is dope.
Oh, look, I got so upset my fucking camera went off. And I'm like, okay. I get where this is going. Here is the natural progression of where you left Maxxine from X, right? Where I'm no longer going to be a fucking victim, right? Like there's the natural progression. And then it doesn't happen. At no point it fucking happens. She never shows that again. Like that strength, that character, it literally 3 minutes later, she's somebody, like her whole motive, her whole like act, like where her character is no longer there. She's now like whatever. Like I can't piece together two critical things. I can't, the cops are interviewing me and I have no idea how the cops would know that Maxxine was the last person to speak to either one of these people because she met them outside of both places.
Yeah, because that like video shop is what, across the street from her apartment or whatever too, right?
No, I'm talking about the two friends.
Oh, yes.
Right? Like the first two friends. And that's the thing, like, you know how some horror movies are like, hey, it's better to leave it to the audience's imagination, the kills.
Yeah, this did not do that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if it was because of a budget, but your first two technical kills, it left nothing to the imagination. I was just like, I have no idea what's happening here. Like I wouldn't even have guessed they died until you saw the bodies. I'm like, it would have been way awesomer to enthrall you more.
Other than that, actually... there's that VHS recording. Well, sorry, it's not a recording. Like you're seeing like a POV from a like a shoulder mounted camcorder of two girls in a closet or whatever. Other than that, yeah. Like let's see the kills. Let's see the fucking murdering, man.
Well, even if you saw the oh my god, what the cattle prawn, it would be like, oh shit's about to go down, right? But just opening them, seeing them in there, and then closing it. I'm assuming it's referencing a movie. I couldn't figure out which movie it was, but yeah. And then explain something to me. What was the point of basing this when the Night Stalker was happening?
Well, I'm assuming the idea was to like throw you up. For those on in the visual medium here, I just air quoted because very quickly you realize it's not the fucking Night Stalker. Like it's too connected to her. Yeah. As soon as it's that connected to her, it can't be the fucking Night Stalker, right? Right. And listen, so they try to go all fucking De Palma meets Giallo, right? The black gloves, the De Palma look. And again, the aesthetic is there, but like I wish that the B storyline. So I would argue that the murders are supposed to be almost like B storyline, because A storyline is her trying to make that ascension out of porn. So we don't even really see her doing porn. In one scene, we see her show up at the studio, and both you and I commented to you when we were watching it. They are ripping off the Goodfellas tracking shot from the Copacabana, which is cool.
Which I disagreed with you, because I believe it was the Buckaroo Banzai shot of him getting ready to, do his band, because they didn't give a shit who you are, right? You're in my club now.
That's right. Okay, whatever. Either one of those, which I mean, the shot looks great, but it's like, I want to see, you've hyped this up that they've hyped it up. Like, I want to see more porn. I want to see her coming out of that porn industry and going to those auditions and stuff like that. But it's so just like, and matter of fact, like bang, bang, bang. But that B storyline is supposed to be the murders, but by connecting them to her so quickly, you don't get to even imagine that Maxxine is just living in LA, in Hollywood, while this murderer is going on. You're immediately like, oh, this is fucking personal. And again, so Kevin Bacon plays a PI and he does a great job. But again, everything gets connected so quickly. Like, you don't even give a fuck. Like, it was nice watching her like fucking attack him. I'll tell you, the whole psycho lot thing is stupid. Fucking stupid. Like, try to ham fist some more fucking Hitchcock reference into this movie, buddy. Like, unnecessary.
Well, seeing Pearl there, like, and which was like homage to X when she saw Pearl in her window,
and it's also an homage to Psycho, obviously.
But yeah, like, in terms of the Kevin Bacon thing, I was fine with him until the club scene, and then I'm like, this escalated and jumped, like he was fucking Fonzie jumping the shark so fucking quick, because he's like, this is personal now. Like, after she fucks him up, he's like, this is personal now.
The revenge. This time, it's personal.
Like, you're gonna regret this shit. He's chasing her around, and then she decides to put like raccoon makeup on, and he's like, maybe I'm gonna fuck her. I don't know. And so I'm gonna just follow her around.
I do agree that like that scene is pointless, but one of my favorite aesthetic scenes is that lead up in that nightclub scene until he goes in the bathroom. Like, her like doing the blow, putting on the makeup, and then the strobing and all that type of stuff at the nightclub. That's a fucking cool scene. And I actually just watched Freakin's To Live or Die in LA. And it's like, I think 1985. And like, I was like, oh my God, they stole this fucking scene from there. It's not a nightclub scene. It's more like a dance production that's happening, but it's almost the same vibe, right? And I'm like,
never stealing. It's an homage. Come on.
Oh, it's not. Okay, so this is where I want to go a bit kind of like, okay, so if you've gotten this far, all I say is don't bother watch this movie in the theater. Check it out on streaming, because going forward, I'm going to reference a couple films. And by referencing them, if you start looking into these films, it might give away a bit of the plot. So I'm going to give you a 3, 2, 1. Okay, you've been fucking warned. This movie is fucking stealing, homaging, taking from heavily Paul Schrader's 1979 film Hardcore, which George C. Scott, and Angel, the 1984 film by Robert Vincent O'Neill. And actually, I'm not the only one that thinks this. This is actually given out in that like IndieWire article by the DOP, Elliot Rocket. So first off, Paul Schrader's film, if you haven't seen Hardcore, go fucking watch that. But it's basically like a dad who's trying to find his daughter who disappears in LA. And so he's gone like undercover as a porn producer. And then Angel is basically about a high school girl who, in order to like kind of keep the fucking lights on when her mom takes off, is like tricking on Hollywood Boulevard. And if you watch,
being chased by a serial killer.
And being chased by a serial killer. Yeah. And even some of the like shot choices are basically like, I don't want to say shot for shot, but you can see their influence on this film. Like, I would argue that double feature Angel with Hardcore, watch Angel first and then Hardcore, and you're going to get a much better viewing experience. And it's going to be actually gritty. That's the other thing I didn't like about this film is that you're dealing with gritty subject matter, but it never felt even as dirty as X was. I think that
even Pearl,
even Pearl.
Yeah.
I think that Ty West's best film was X. I thought Pearl was okay. Like, it was fine. And I think this motherfucker underperforms, and it needs some Viagra because it can't get its fucking dick up. So
you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing.
Well, now that you gave the warnings, so here's what I thought was going to happen. So again, this will be spoilers. How much fucking awesomer would it have been if they just fucking Tarantino'd this? What is that? Reimagined history,
like a historical revision or something like that.
And she's the Night Stalker.
Yes!
She's taking out the fucking other lead actresses.
Yes.
Right?
And again, that's what you think might happen, but so quickly do they shut that down.
Gotcha, bitch.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it would have gone back to X. Like, you would figure eventually, because X was the where it started.
Yeah.
But if you're having that scene, and they reference this in this movie, when you have that scene of Pearl going to Maxxine saying, "We're the same," right? Like, and then she had like that little flashback and then like had a panic attack, but that would have been her kind of evolving to like the next level of Pearl.
Yes, because if you haven't seen Pearl does something very similar to what we're talking about in that movie, where there's a competition and she may or may not dispatch of that fucking competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and that would have been like the next evolving step, right? And but also like the way, like when I said that Buster Keaton shot, right? Like, just think about that. She literally fucking made that guy pretend to be the female porn star.
Yes.
Right? Like, get down on your knees. Now suck it. And then be like, face down, ass up.
Because that's the way she likes to
be. Right. But even if she was going out that way, where, she's taking back everything that industry took away from her, right? Like her innocence, her whatever, made her a fucking killer because of X.
Which would have been a great homage to Ms. 45, where she gets abused multiple times and then she starts taking on predatory men, fucking taking them out in the park, taking them out at the fucking party, like all that type of stuff. Absolutely, man. I 100% agree with you. Like, even if she didn't become the Night Stalker, like, even if those two things are running in parallel, her just going after A, the people who are like beating her out for roles, and B, just like killing fucking random dudes. And then, because then you get a police procedural in there where they're like, fuck, man, like, is this the Night Stalker doing this? It seems similar, but not enough. Instead of trying to
right from the beginning, they're like, oh, do you know these people? People are gonna say it's the Night Stalker, but we already know it's not.
Exactly.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what's that? Like, I will give Bobby Caravel.
Yeah, man.
Like, I do give props because I do like some of the like the fact that his character is a homicide detective who fucking wanted to be an actor so bad but failed, but still tries to act while trying to interrogate.
Yeah, like doing like the cop guy stuff, and then his partner, who's played by Elizabeth.
No, isn't it like Megan? No, Elizabeth Debicki's the director.
Oh, that's
it's
right.
Like
that's
Monahan.
Right. Yeah, it's Monahan. Yeah, and she's like, dude, like, that sucks. Again, it's got its beats that kind of work. What I think is interesting is Mia Goth is a producer on this, and she talked about this being like a fantastic script.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Sweetheart, baby, booby, fuck, maybe go read some better fucking scripts. And man, I like Mia. I'm really happy that, her career is going well for her. She was great in Suspiria. She was obviously a Nymphomaniac. She's worked with some like really great directors. I think we talked about she might be doing some Marvel stuff. Like, listen, good for everybody involved, but you made a piece of shit fucking movie, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. And like I said, I think this could
It's
be
no
just
death proof. I'll tell you that right now.
no, I'm just saying like it could just be like because my expectations like and I don't like I might have to watch it again just to see. But one, I'm super glad we did not do that fucking triple feature that you first suggested, because if I watched them all back to back and then finished on that, I would have probably walked out halfway through.
Imagine 6
But
hours and you're like in the bottom third of it or whatever, and you're like, "Yeah, we gotta go, man. I need a stiff drink."
yeah, like and that's the thing, like Simon Prast, who plays her father, and spoilers, he has like a scene. But the fact that he fucking decided he was gonna be Jeremy Irons in Dungeons and Dragons and just fucking ham it up. All right, like just ham it up, but pretend it's serious shit. Like that was just like pissing me off too, and that whole scene as well. Like, I'm like,
Yeah, like what
I
the
think,
fuck is going on here?
yeah, I think it was the case where they left way too much to the imagination, and then when it didn't fucking like when the reveals happen, and your imagination was way fucking better. Like, I'll admit, spoilers. Like, I thought at one point like the cops were in on it because the way they were like going, like, okay, shoot, and then she was like, I'm gonna go chase after him, stay with him, and then like you don't hear anything, you just hear gunshots.
She's got a gun and she gets stabbed in the eye. Like,
With a
how the
cross,
fuck
yeah.
did that happen? Come on,
And then she was
man.
like, I told you I would get him. I'm like, I know. I'm like, visually, I'm like, I really needed to see like how the fuck that happened, because unless he ninja starred that shit,
I am Haru. Do not worry about Haru. This ninja knows no fear.
like, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Pastor.
I'm like, you heard the gunshots, right? Like, where the fuck did he hide that he could like stab her in the fucking eye? But she could still get off. I'm
like you said,
no.
or show it. Let's see that chase. Let's see that fucking play out.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. Like I don't really have much to say. Like,
Whoa, I just want to say one thing. I have to admit. So the director Elizabeth Bender, her outfit, the fucking boots, I don't know who she's trying to be. I feel like she's being modeled after an 80s female director, like Bigelow, or like I could picture Catherine Bigelow or something like that, like wearing those boots, smoking cigarettes. She looked fucking cool. I'll tell you right now. Like, fucking chef's kiss to the fucking
wardrobe
costume department. Yeah, like the outfits were fucking solid. Like I said, the thing looks fucking great. It's sort of like a buffet that's put on for movies. You're not really supposed to fucking eat it. Don't eat this film. Just look at it.
Don't touch it. Don't even look at it. Go on, get out. You heard me.
Look at it in the trailer because it's kind of garbage.
Yeah. But hey, I think this was Halsey's first movie, man. So congrats. She had some lines.
I feel like I just watched something with fucking Halsey.
I don't know. I think it was I don't know for sure. I thought it was advertised as her first movie, but
I mean, it might be the first movie she did, but I feel like something else might have come out that had her in it. I don't know. We're operating right now without a producer, so nobody to look this shit up. Do you got anything else, Scott, before I kind of wrap us up here?
Well, she was in she was a voice actor in Sing 2. Apparently she was in Americana as Mandy Starr, so yeah.
All right, so are you good? Can I wrap this thing up?
Fuck, man. You're just like this movie, man. You just don't know when to end.
I do. Yeah, that's the other thing. The movie didn't know when to end. There was a bunch of fucking times where you're like, okay, that's a good ending. Okay, this is also a good ending. Okay, please just fucking put me out of the fucking misery. So it's got a 75% from the critics, 78% from the audience. As we said, it's got a roughly 1 hour, 45 minute running time. And I'm going to leave on this quote, and it's from someone that Scott's going to love because he's never heard of this outlet. So we got David Jenkins from Little White Lies website, whatever the fuck that is. Maxxine suffers in comparison to all the films and filmmakers it's so lovingly apes, ending up as a hodgepodge of slightly academic homages that never coalesce into a satisfying whole.
And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com. Okay, so one thing I know, it's not actually the right thing, but was it just me, or did that assistant director on that movie fucking look like Buster Keaton character and acted like he got his balls fucking smashed?
Oh, I don't know about that. You're going like ogre level layers here, buddy.
Right, which I thought
layers.
would have been fucking awesome, because then I'm like, oh shit, right? Like he knows it was her, and fucking she doesn't know it was him because he was all in the makeup. But I looked and it was two different actors. But again, something else my mind just decided was way better than what I watched.
Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.